Pop Culture Pastor.
Cody, I tried a new breakfast drink this morning. I have this, like, my wife gave me this whey protein powder,
You're going to get ripped
and
because that's what whey does.
oh yeah, like the Kool-Aid man up in here. So I made it and I mixed it with some unsweetened almond milk and some ice and blended it. More importantly, I had Ben do it.
Thanks a lot, Ben.
with a shot of espresso, and it doesn't taste very good. It needs something else in it because it tastes very bland. It tastes like powder with liquid.
Mountain Dew.
No, that would defeat the purpose. Although a Mountain Dew does sound tasty now.
It's always good.
I guess I don't. I need to find something to replace. Like, I don't like coffee. So I don't get like coffee drinks. I get like a little bit of coffee with a bunch of sugar and milk in it. Well, that's not going to work. I need to go less sugar and less carbs in my life. And even just saying that out loud, I got a little sad.
The carbs is the really sad thing.
I know. Why is it so sad?
Because you're not going to be able to go to Olive Garden ever again.
Oh, man. Last time I went to Olive Garden was not a great experience, and it doesn't even matter. You're just like, yeah, I'll go back. I'll be back. Yeah, you guys messed up bad this time, but I'll be back. For the bread. I'll do it for the bread.
Yeah, don't mess up the breadsticks. Keep those bad boys coming.
It happens every time, too. You go there, you order your meal, and you just have them. It's like, yeah, keep the bread coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. You know, and then by the time your meal gets out, you're like, oh, I don't even think I can eat this. Then you eat the whole meal. After you're done eating your meal, you're like, should we get some more bread to take home? Yeah, we should get some more bread. Hey, could you bring us out another basket of bread? 2 baskets, one to eat while we're waiting for the other one for the box.
Yes, we'll need a box.
So anyways, this is why I'm going to die. That'll be the reason. It'll be Olive Garden. We don't even have an Olive Garden in our town, though.
We don't. Which is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. My son, when we went to Olive Garden, when we go to Olive Garden, he's 12 years old. And the waitress comes and he says, hey, the macaroni and cheese you have, the kids' macaroni and cheese, is that Kraft? And the waitress is like, no.
It's a lot
and then
better.
she like looks at him and realizes he's serious. She's like, no.
No, it's
and
better
like,
than Kraft.
He's like, I'll have the pizza. Because it's like, don't bring me any of that other trash. I want Kraft.
I would have asked, is this Velveeta and shells?
Yeah, right. That's high quality, but I don't even think he likes that. He just likes Kraft. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, look, I like Kraft macaroni and cheese too, but
I'll eat it.
But I'm not going to turn down, like, you know, a better made version of it, which is, I'm sure Olive Garden has.
They do their pasta right most of the time.
I didn't realize this was going to turn into a commercial for Olive Garden. Come to Olive Garden where you feel like family. And you get full of breadsticks. And gluten. That was my attempt at advertising.
Well, they don't have the trademark anymore of when you're here, your family, so.
Yeah, it's too fast and furious for him.
I think Post Malone has it now.
Oh, what? That makes lots of sense.
I think Jimmy Fallon bought it for him.
Okay. Very good. This is Pop Culture Pastor.
In case you couldn't tell by all that rambling.
We'll be here all afternoon. You're not going to want to go anywhere because more ridiculous conversation like that. So, Cody, often we talk about things that are humorous, something that will bring us a little levity to a kind of dark and gloomy sometimes world.
I've been there, done that.
I get this. I didn't ask for this, but like I've recently had this conservative news sites started sending me news emails And it's like just headlines, and all the headlines are terrible. It's like hey, in case you wanted to know all the really, really, really bad news here and didn't want to go out searching for it on the internet, we've collected it all for you and then have a concentrated email here for you. It's the worst thing ever. I've unsubscribed to it like 8 times and it just keeps coming.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. But there are bad things happening in the world.
There are indeed.
Things ripping at the fabric of our society and our culture. It's bringing America down. And these things that I'm thinking of are obviously pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
Pickleball's terrible. I had no idea, Cody.
It's killing a whole generation.
Who knew? Y'all think we're joking. I'm not. Pickleball, at some point in the last couple weeks, got in the crosshairs of media.
It did.
And boy, I have seen article after article after article about how pickleball is destroying us.
I think I've sent you 2 or 3 of them.
I honestly, I saw the first one and I saved it and I didn't think about it again. Like I was like, oh, that'd be interesting to talk about on the radio. Then you started sending me articles and they're all different articles from different outlets. And they're all like, pickleball's the devil. Like, get behind me, pickleball. By the way, for what it's worth, it's already behind me. I've never played pickleball in my life. I even went to Chicken and Pickle in Wichita with friends and didn't play 1 minute of pickleball.
So when I was in high school, they made us play pickleball.
Those evil people.
Yes.
So yeah, pickleball's been around for a minute.
It has.
They have restaurants where they combine eating average food while playing pickleball.
Iola used to have a pickleball paddle store that you could buy pickleball paddles at.
That sounds somewhat dark and twisted, but I'm going to move past it. Pickleball paddle store? I'm not walking into that store. Anyways, all my feelings about pickleball have been proven right by whatever's happening with this pickleball phenomenon that is attacking the fabric of America. And I know, there's probably a bunch of people listening like, Dave, I like pickleball. I like playing pickleball. Well, I don't.
You're living on a dangerous edge, my friend.
And now we have the proof to back it up because as we know, anything that the news reports is probably really fact.
Yes.
And I am a little, side note, I am a little nervous that the whole media just picked up on this all at the same time and we're like, you know what? We're bombing pickleball back to the Stone Ages. Nope. I'm a little nervous that the media is all over pickleball because I'm just like, what's happening here?
So it is really weird, especially when you consider like LeBron James had like bought into like a pickleball league or team, and a bunch of other famous people were like, yeah, pickleball's the new sport of the future. And
see, because we can't just have hobbies.
No.
Every time it's something that you keep track of a score in, we're like, we gotta have a league. LeBron's like, I need a professional pickleball league.
I'm just waiting for horseshoes to make a comeback.
Talk about dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Here, do we need the facts here? Let's go to the facts.
Let's go to the facts.
Analysts. What analysts? I don't know.
You don't need to know.
Analysts estimate that $250 million to $500 million in medical costs were attributable to pickleball in 2023. The year's not even over yet.
We're just halfway through.
We're talking about $500 million in medical costs because of pickleball. Some of you, like, listen, I always knew America was a bunch of tryhards. Some of y'all are trying too hard. It's supposed to be for leisure, recreation. Quit trying to make LeBron's professional pickleball league. You're not going to get in. They're all going to be 6'8" freaks like LeBron.
They will be.
Yeah. They don't have to run across the court because he can just stretch out his amazingly long arms and hit the ball. Not like you, who's like huffing and puffing across the pickleball court, pulling hip flexors.
Oh, been there, done that.
The analysts go on. the sport could even be contributing to an uptick in outpatient surgeries among seniors. Wait, they got the seniors playing pickleball?
Yes.
That just doesn't seem like a good idea.
Nope.
What happened? Like, my grandpa used to play darts, which, probably still up there in injuries, but you're not moving around.
Not fast anyway.
And darts is delightful. I just love darts. And it's a skill.
It is.
It's very skill. The people that were good at darts, I couldn't explain why they were good at darts. They were just gifted.
Those people that can hit the triple 20 every time, they're impressive.
We're getting into darts semantics here.
Yes.
Dr. Joshua Dines, who's an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in sports medicine and shoulder surgery. Okay. That's awfully concentrated. Ask me where he works, Cody.
Where does he work?
The Hospital for Special Surgeries. That's literally the name of it.
That sounds made up.
He says pickleball was almost too easy to play. That's every pickleball player just got mad. No, actually, it's quite difficult.
Takes some serious skill.
It's actually quite difficult, Dr. Dines from the Hospital for Special Surgeries. You got to have skills. It takes lots of practice because I'm really good at it. And if I'm really good at it and you're not, that means there has to be a lot of skill involved.
All the skill.
Right? That's where. Anyways, Dr. Dines goes on. He says, pickleball's almost too easy to play. So people that hadn't done anything in years, this was kind of their entrance back into sport, and they weren't ready for it.
So what I'm really hearing is we need more bowling alleys. Just start off with that sport, friends.
Bowling alleys with an arcade and a nacho machine.
That's all you need in life.
You see, this is why I don't get hurt. Because I know my boundaries, my limits, and the level of sport that I can get involved in. And that sport is obviously nacho eating, maybe bowling, darts, and people watching.
And
those are my sports.
Arcade game playing.
Sometimes my wrist hurts, though, Cody. I get carpal tunnel. So this Dr. Dines from the Hospital of Special Surgeries, which sounds like it's the hospital on Bluey.
It might be.
Come on, kids. We got to go to the Hospital of Special Surgeries. Oh, Dad. It sounds, you're right. It sounds made up, but it's not. It's not so much that he says that pickleball itself is causing all the injuries. It's not even so much that he says it's so easy to pick up and do that people have made this the gateway back into sport when maybe they weren't ready for it. This is where Dr. Dines steps over the lines.
Oh.
If you'll allow me to rhyme. He's seen an increasing number of patients, and he wants to point out that it's about who's playing, not about the sport. He doesn't believe pickleball is itself is more dangerous than others he's worked closely with, like baseball and hockey. Those are the two sports he. Well, of course not. Nobody's throwing a pickleball at you at 100 miles per hour. And there's not a guy roaming around who's just out there to beat you up like hockey.
Well, I've always said this, Dave. Pickleball's a young man's game.
So he points this out. And he's going to agree with you. Pickleball is projected to grow from 3.5 million players in 2019 to 22 million players by the end of this year.
That's 19 million too many.
And the majority of injuries from that growing pool of players comes from people over 60 years old. He said that while pickleball is considered a low impact sport, there's still repetitive shoulder motion and side to side movement that could aggravate an existing injury, particularly in a person who hasn't been overly active. And you're like, okay, Dr. Dines, watch yourself as you're getting more specific. And he says this: if we got MRIs on everyone over the age of 60, I knew it. Pastor Rick is in the room and this guy is going off telling old people they can't play pickleball. What Pastor Rick's getting up out of his chair.
Yeah.
I think he's going to throw something. It's not me. It's Dr. Dines. He says a lot of a lot of these would have some degree of meniscus tearing that may not be symptomatic. And then all of a sudden you tweak your knee. And whether that's hiking or walking or playing pickleball, now you've got a meniscus tear that's symptomatic and needs treatment. But he said he does qualify by saying it's not just seniors. He saw 3 clients in just the last week in their early 30s.
No. Stairs and pickleball. Young man's game under 30.
Stairs. Yeah, I don't do stairs. I never thought I'd be this young when I'm just like, do we have to have a house with a second story or a basement?
Yeah.
I'm like, in my youth, I never thought I'd say this, but I really wish we had a ranch style home. And nothing more comfortable American has ever left my mouth than what I just uttered. I really wish we had a ranch style home, because those stairs are kicking me in the behind.
Ranch style home with a nacho cheese machine.
And by the way, don't ask me to go to Chicken and Pickle. Quit asking me to go to Chicken and Pickle. Well, we're having our business and team meeting at Chicken and Pickle in Wichita. We can eat and play pickleball. And like, you say that like it's appealing. No, I don't want to eat and exercise. I want to just eat.
Cornhole is about as athletic as I get these days.
And we live in a rural area, man. People be thinking cornhole is like the World Series of sport.
It is.
Yeah. So Chicken and Pickle, I've seen it all 100 times. It's too much. It's too much. Not the chicken tenders. That's fine. I'm good with the chicken tenders. It's, what, Chicken and Pickle is basically a glorified Buffalo Wild Wings. They just have pickleball courts and games and stuff. So, unlike Buffalo Wild Wings, where you just wait too long for average chicken tenders.
With big TVs.
Here, you have big TVs, average chicken tenders, and you can tear your meniscus. Yay! Where do I sign up? Okay. I'm done. That was all I got.
Okay, because
that was the shtick.
Just know, pickleball, too dangerous.
Producer's note: Chicken and Pickle will never sponsor our podcast or our radio show now. Is Chicken and Pickle a chain?
I think so.
Are they? Well, good for them. They're making lots of money. They don't care about what we say. Nothing we say is going to change that. This dude, we're just over here with Dr. Dines at the Hospital of Weird Injuries.
Stay for the chicken and TV. Avoid the pickle.
All right, welcome back. Are you angry today, Cody? Are you mad?
Not overly, but maybe under the surface.
Just saying you're not overly mad. You know how, like, you're immediately in a minority in this country. Everybody's mad. They're mad about something.
I'm mad that they're mad.
I'm mad that you're mad that they're mad. We're all mad. We're all mad about stuff. And I'm just like, we just got done talking about this. Why are people so mad?
We could be like Paul, mad about you.
I'm mad about you. You're mad about me, babe. That was Paul. He wrote those words. He said babe and everything. No, that was Belinda Carlisle, but whatever.
I was thinking the show.
The show?
The 90s show.
Oh, yeah. Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. Yeah, it was a great show. My parents loved it. They love Mad About You.
I was a kid, so my parents liked it, and I watched it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But we're all just mad about everything. The weird thing is we talk about people in our little town who are mad at the things that go on in the world, and you can't really change it. So you end up just being mad for no apparent reason, and I don't know. It's a weird place to be, because it's not like I don't see things wrong in the world and lament that. I lament, but I try not to be angry about it. And boy, I tell you what, my church folks, they do not understand when I say things like, well, I just don't really care about politics anymore. I've lost interest in it. I don't really, when it's time to vote, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just don't really care. I believe God's in control. I am in a place where I would admit this, that I don't really feel like my vote counts for anything. Unless
Dave's desensitized to the whole election process.
It's speaking mainly of the presidential election. Now, local elections in our small little town, yes, I vote, because it's often, you're talking about a couple thousand votes and that's it.
And my vote counts.
It does. It absolutely does. I'm not saying that it doesn't count. But the way we do presidential elections, especially, our state's going to swing one way that it has for many years. And that's pretty much a given.
Okay.
And so I often don't feel the need to vote.
Vote if you want to.
But it's because I just don't like being around this conversation of anger that's angry. It's always angry. It's not about, nobody campaigns like, here's what I will do for you, my future constituents. No, it's always like, let me tell you what a bum this other person is. And you get big brochures in the mail all about what a bum the other person is. That's how we campaign now.
I want someone to send me a brochure about how much of a bum they are.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, if I was running against Cody, I wouldn't say about how smart I am or how committed I am to you, the constituents, the people, of just wanting to do what was best, what the majority of folks wanted. I would run on a campaign that Cody's a weirdo who doesn't eat certain foods and kicks poodles.
I don't kick poodles.
How do you know, though? I could just say it.
Well, I know because I don't kick poodles. I don't even own poodles.
Well, that's just your word against mine. But we drive this anger. There's anger in the world, and it leads me to this thing I want to talk about. Now we're offering things out in the world to capitalize on the anger and, dare I say, amplify it?
Sounds like us.
So get this, Cody. Lindsay Istis is the founder of something called Rage Yoga. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of Rage Against the Machine.
They are makers of music that fosters rage, right?
It does.
That's a great comparison. I loved Rage with the Machine when I was a younger man, and I liked being mad.
Yeah.
And I would listen to Rage Against the Machine specifically when I wanted to be mad, even though my political alignment does not line up with, what is his name? Zach De La Rocha.
Yeah.
The lead singer and the guy who was singing the songs with Rage Against the Machine. My politics don't really line up with his, even back then. But when I wanted to be mad and I was living in that anger and I was like getting satisfaction from being angry, all that self-righteousness, I would turn on some Running with the Bulls.
Exactly.
Rally around your family with a pocket full of shells. You'd have to have been there. That's the kind of music they made.
It was scary.
That's why this Rage Yoga thing is so interesting, because what do you know about yoga? There's peaceful music. There's you're tying yourself into pretzels.
So there's a few different yoga styles. Like there's more of a meditative yoga, which is super calming, relaxing, peaceful, supposed to relieve all the tension.
Yeah.
Then there's a more aerobic yoga, which oh my goodness, you'll be in a puddle of sweat and you will need to have all the deodorant in your car when you are done. Because you will have sweat out of every pore. But it's also supposed to be about relieving the tension and stress and being mindful of when you breathe, when you change your movements. And even though you're rapidly moving, putting your body into positions that your body probably is not meant to ever be in, there still is an attentiveness of breathing out during certain poses and breathing in and trying to channel all the negative and stress out your body and be thinking happy thoughts and about your breath.
Yeah.
And so there's an attentiveness with yoga as well as a piece of serenity.
Yeah, people do it for like relaxation almost. And I can hear my super Christians out there being like, "Well, Dave, the yoga is Buddhist, and you shouldn't do it because it's this." I'm like, "Listen, just like there are people that go to church who aren't really Christians, they're just kind of there because they're shallow. It's shallow for them. Can we at least get to a point where like most people are going to yoga not for a religious experience? It's shallow.
Yeah. Like
That's not what they're getting out of it.
there's not the chanting or
No.
the saying of sacred vows
No.
or prayers or anything.
They're stretching
Yeah.
and breathing. That's it. It's shallow. Because why? Because we're shallow. Americans are largely pretty shallow.
Yes. So we experience in America is a very westernized version of what happens in Eastern countries.
So now we have something called rage yoga, which is apparently all the rage.
Heyo.
Whoa, double meaning. Lindsay Istis, the founder of Rage Yoga, describes it as an alternative yoga for the modern bad person.
Oh, Lindsay. You're
She's-
living on the edge.
Yeah, I know. So she's cursing in the interview. That tells you something. It's meant to be a different approach to yoga for those who find their peaceful center in a different way. The practice involves a little bit of extra chaos and a sense of humor, she says. And so think war cries, heavy metal guitar riffs, dirty jokes, cursing, and yes, even drinking. And it's all called rage yoga. And the goal is to make you feel like an empowered, again, she uses this bad person explicative, to work through what's holding you back and to become a more resilient person. So if regular yoga is about relaxing and centering in on your peace and getting rid of your anger, which the Bible says is a good thing, this is about accessing your anger.
Channeling it to
Yeah.
become vengeance.
And so with that in mind, I'm going to let you think about it for a minute.
I got thoughts on that.
Okay. Normal yoga, which, probably has roots in some Eastern faith traditions. Yes. But as practiced by Americans, very shallow, very much about just relaxation, breathing, stretching.
Even the DDP yoga.
Yeah. Diamond Dallas Page. Yeah. Candles, maybe a little light music. And it's about finding peace, right?
Strengthening your core.
Now enter, which, is it the least shocking thing ever that this is taking off in our country at this time? Of course this is. Rage yoga, where it's all about accessing your anger, acting out from it, yelling, cursing, drinking, playing loud rock music, headbanging. It's exactly what I talked about when I listened to Rage Against the Machine. Why did I like Rage Against the Machine as a young man? Why did I like rap? Certain kind of gangster rap? Because I liked accessing my anger. It felt good. But I cannot recommend it for what it led me to do, the actions I took after accessing my anger. Cody, Rage Yoga. Is this a good thing for us?
In short, no.
No.
Okay, so you identified that it comes from various Eastern traditions, whether religious, philosophical, or just aerobic traditions. This is cultural appropriation.
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
Well, it always was.
Yes. So before we took some of the basic fundamentals and westernized them, which still cultural appropriation, but
Yeah.
we're just slightly moving over. But now we're like doing a 180 from where we were.
Let's take a time out for a minute and just say something real quick. The people who get mad at cultural appropriation, let me tell you why this is ridiculous. You ready for this?
I'm
Everyone
ready.
who's ever been on the internet and said, well, that's culture appropriation and I'm outraged. Oh, do you ever eat pizza? What about tacos? You eat tacos? Yeah, you're engaging in, come on. Getting mad at someone for cultural appropriation is just selective anger. That's all that is, because you're engaged in it at some point.
It is, but like with this, especially since it is of a religious background, that you have taken something and warped it to now it's like the complete opposite of what it was.
It is a truer sense of the phrase. Yes.
Yes. Food, I will take part in the cultural appropriation. I mean, literally, I know that there's studies out there that have said, like, oh, if you say this many curse words a day, you might be helping your heart because you're releasing the tension and anger by saying it instead of just keeping it all in. Well, there's better ways to actually release that tension and anger. If you're just constantly practicing anger, that's going to change your whole mindset, your whole thought process, and especially if it becomes on a daily thing. Oh, even when I'm not doing anger yoga, I am now like, I'm missing the release of the chemicals in my brain. I need to do something that simulates that so I can feel that way more frequently. Literally, it's like LeBron James. I mean, this dude practices shots all the time. Literally, he's made some of the most ridiculous shots, either in regulation or just right after the buzzer, and he practices those shots. But if he didn't practice those shots, they're going to be short, they're going to be too far, they're going to be off left, off right. For us, if we don't practice anger, like when we do get angry, it's just like a one-off, and it's not going to be anything worth looking at. But if we keep practicing anger, we're going to dwell in it, we're going to become a master at it, and then we'll be the goat of anger.
That's actually kind of a profound way to put it. We've become experts at practicing anger. We practice it. That's like, the internet, social media is largely a place where people practice anger. Like, you're not really mad. You're not sitting at home. Well, some people are. Some people are actually angry at home on social media, but by and large, most people just are pretending they're practicing anger. And just like when I was younger and listening to rap, gangsta rap in the early 90s, mid 90s, and Rage Against the Machine later on, you're practicing anger. And Rage Against the Machine, Rage Yoga is like the Rage Against the Machine of, recreational activities. You're just practicing anger. By the way, we could do a whole pod episode on bands and music that made us practice anger and led us to where we are now. In fact, in my way of thinking, this is all Dr. Dre's fault.
Potentially. I mean, I listened to DMX.
It's his fault too. And Rage Against the Machine, it's their fault. If we'd all been listening to, Kenny G, if Kenny G would have been the biggest thing in music in the 90s, now we'd all be much more relaxed. And we'd have an affinity for the tenor saxophone. Or was it the alto? I don't know.
Either or.
Whatever it was just delightful. Hey everybody, Dave here. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, which is sort of our odds and ends left over from our radio show. If you want to listen to our radio show, you can tune in to KFEX. That's website is kfex931.com. We would appreciate that, and so would they. We are on every day, weekday, noon to 4, so check us out there. Also, as always, please subscribe to the podcast if you're not already. Give us a 5-star review if you're on a listening platform that allows that, and leave us a review too. Write something nice about us. Share our posts. Follow our posts on social media so you can share our posts with your friends. Tell them why you love to listen to the Pop Culture Pastor podcast. That helps us out. We want all this to happen because we want to grow the community. We go out to comic conventions so we can be around you guys and keep growing the community. And that's what we want, man. We're all about the love. And let's get out there and let's love on each other and let's have community and let's look to the culture like something different. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back.